Welcome to Coffee with Blaine. This is my big ass coffee, and this is my big ass. So thank you guys for showing up. When you show up, this is a preemptive thank you. I just want to say hello out there in Cyberland to my, oh, there we go. Now we're getting some people. Becky, good morning. How are you today? Let's see. We got this up. We got that up. We'll bring the chat up. It's just Becky, just me and Becky today. We're gonna bro down. It's gonna be awesome. Thanks to my one YouTube person. I know you haven't commented yet, but I see you. I see you're on. I'm well rested. How are you this morning? I wish I was well rested. I have a bunch of coffee instead. Good morning, Loyalty Organics. I like that name. DK, good morning. All right, we're just going to let a couple people get on. I'm just going to say thank you so much for joining me. I have a special guest today. Good morning, Maureen. How are you? I'm hanging in there. I'm sleepy, but my next guest has a lot of energy. So we're going to balance each other out. It's going to be amazing. If you saw the thing, you know that I have the one and only HIGHDRO. Lindsay, good morning. Popping on here in just a second. Good morning, Candace. And we're going to talk about all things. We're going to talk about all the things. That's for damn sure. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. What's the best platform to stream today? That's a great question, Candace. If you haven't gotten a chance, I would really love it if you pop on to YouTube, give a like and a follow. That would be amazing. And if you've already done that, maybe pop over to Twitch and give a like and a follow. Those are my two platforms I'm trying to build up. And I would appreciate any likes and follows and notification bells that you can hit. All right, so I'm not going to wait around for this because this guy has too much energy. And we're going to have much more fun talking to him than we will talking to me. That's for damn sure. So without further ado, let's bring up the man, the myth, the legend, HIGHDRO. Welcome, sir.
What up, Blaine? Coffee with Blaine. We in the house. Me and Ziggy.
Yeah.
I guess we'll take a break from this thing. How you doing, brother?
I am waking up. I wish I had the energy that you have. We're gonna have to start there.
Yeah.
Why are you so excited, and how do you have so much energy so early in the morning? Is this mid-morning for you? Have you been up for a while?
Yeah, I'm usually up at about 4 a.m. or 6. So, yeah, for sure. This is like afternoon at this point.
You're up at 4 to 6 a.m. every day. What do you do at 4 to 6 a.m., bro?
Yoga, meditation, puja, japa. Basically just getting my mind right, building up my armor for the day so that I can go out and deal with all this madness. I love to start my day very peaceful and give thanks to God, all that good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. That is a great way to start the day. Candace, thanks for switching over to Twitch. That's awesome. I'm trying to build up my Twitch platform slowly. This is your first time on Twitch, you mentioned. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is my first time on Twitch. I'm stoked.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I guess I'm going to have to get one of these set up.
Yeah, get ready for extra meditation because there's a lot of trolling on Twitch.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, man. So you're up 4 to 6 a.m. What time do you go to sleep?
I'm an early one, so like usually 9 or 10 o'clock I try to get to sleep unless there's some events or shows going on. And, you know, we'll have to stay up a little later, but I'll still be up at 6 like clockwork. You know what it is? You know what it really is, Blaine?
What is it, HIGHDRO?
It's the 80s, bro. It was the 80s, man. My mom had a lot of fun during that time, let's just say. And I think that some got in the bloodstream while I was being created. So, yee! I'm naturally just wired.
Nice. I like it.
Let me hang this up.
Bye. That was HIGHDRO, everybody. Quick, easy, efficient. And we're done. That's the interview.
There.
Howdy. I just got done telling everyone that was the interview. Thanks for coming.
It was a quickie.
In and
hang
out.
it up. I had to hang it up for a second. Look, you know, this is the problem with these cords here. You see, give me 1 second.
Yeah, man. You get yourself.
All right. Are we good to?
You get your head right, sir.
Yes, I can. Okay. What's
All
new,
right.
brother? It's been a while since we've got to chat. I know you just went on vacation. You got to tell me a little bit about that.
It was fun, bro. It was amazing. I learned that if I wanna take a couple weeks, go visit someplace amazing and exotic and learn a new culture, I can do that while still working, which is incredible.
Isn't it amazing?
We live in the future, bro. It's nuts.
Bro, who you telling? Look at this. This thing even charges my phone. I can just sit my phone right here. It's going to charge. How amazing is that?
Damn. That
cool
is
stuff.
insane. Yeah, so trip was amazing. The food was incredible.
You didn't get typhoid or any crazy stuff, no?
No, I mean I got poolside. Does that count?
Hey. So the water's okay there. You could drink the water, no problem.
I mean, honestly,
just got to make it into coffee first.
Yeah, right. That's the one rule in Colombia. No, I honestly every place served bottled water because we weren't Airbnb, and so we weren't like cooking or anything. So I really don't know what the situation. I was just like, well, I'm just gonna get the bottled water because that's what they serve at the restaurants. So
right.
And one thing that was kind of cool is all the restaurants serve their bottles in glass, so they're easily recyclable.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you don't get the plastic flavor in there, so that's great.
Yeah, that's definitely helpful.
Right.
All right, let's see. Candace, I feel like Twitch stream is the most clear and quickest over Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for the assessment. I always love it when people try different platforms and see how everything works. I'm a nerd like that. HIGHDRO, I still need one of those trays, brah. That was from DK.
Oh, yeah. No doubt, DK. Hit me up when you're down here. We'll get the whole experience in, take you to Double Helix, have a good drink. She says she's into a good old-fashioned like me, so.
Oh, shit. All right.
I believe that's what she said. If nothing else, a good drink, but yeah.
All right, so we gotta talk about Ziggy here for a second. For those of you who noticed Ziggy.
Zigmeister.
What is Ziggy?
So Ziggy is, you guys remember Jurassic Park? Look at this. You don't want to show off? He loves his little neck rub. So we get in here, we get behind his hood, and you'll see he's got that big old hood. Ziggy's always chill. He's never like surprised anymore or fearful, really. He knows that we're just homies and he has nothing to worry about here. It's just nothing but food and love. But when they do get scared, like maybe I can get a little frilly, gets a little shocked sometimes in here. Isn't as calm as this one yet because you really got to work with him to build that bond, But this is his little buddy, and he'll throw the hood quite often. Oh, it's working. Look, he's tame now, too. This is happening right on camera. You're going to be, So, yeah, he's a little bit more active. But basically, these frilled dragons is what they are. They're a lizard from Indonesia. And they have these big old hoods right here to scare away predators. So they'll basically just pop, like you'll see on Jurassic Park, puff it out. They don't spit anything or whatever like in the movie, and neither did those dinosaurs either. It was all just kind of for the effect of things. So these are two of my favorites. Ziggy is my dude. I've had him for a couple of years now, and he's just to the point. Like he wants to come out, hang out on the shoulder. A lot of people are familiar with bearded dragons, which got one of those down here and over there. They're cool, they're chill, but I just love the frilled dragons even more. And as you saw earlier, one of Ziggy's favorite things to do is to sit up on the hat and we go cruising around the zoo together. So I'll take you guys for a lap real quick so you can get the full-on Ziggy morning experience after we meditate.
Hell yeah, I love it. So, correct me if I'm wrong, frilled dragons are from Indonesia.
Yes, Indonesia, and then they also have another one that comes from Australia, which is a little bit larger. They have more red in their beard down here, and kind of like the Drody. But yeah, they get a little larger. They're more sought after because they're more rare. Because I'm sure you know, but a lot of listeners might not know, Australia is closed off now. So any of the animals from Australia, we can no longer import here. So I have some of them up here. I keep a pair of diamond pythons from Australia, which are really rare. They're absolutely beautiful. They're currently in the freezer because it's brumation time. Really interesting. They are the world's coldest python. And so a lot of people that will keep those pythons, they don't cool them like they would in their natural habitat. And what happens, their digestive system ends up shutting down early, like around 5-6 years of age, versus these animals can live 20-30 years in captivity. So yeah, you have to cool them down every winter for at least a couple of months. I have a special brumation fridge that I put them in. Sounds crazy, but if you love the animals, you want to keep them for a long time to keep them as healthy as possible. That's just what you have to do.
Yeah, you have to mimic their natural environment. And diamond pythons, correct me again if I'm wrong, are southern tip of Australia and Tasmania, right?
You got me beat there. I got to do a little bit more research. I do know the southern part of Australia, but I didn't know Tanzania. You said Tanzania?
No, Tasmania.
Tasmania. Oh, I'm not familiar. I
Yeah,
thought they were just in Australia.
the southern island right off of Australia, kind of the same place where the Tasmanian wolf and the Tasmanian devils are located. I believe diamond pythons are down all the way into there, and that's really you think Australia and you think for the most part warm, but like when you're getting down there, you're pretty much next to Antarctica. It's crazy.
It's nuts, man. They get, like I said, the world's coldest region. So when I cool these things, they get down as low as, the low 50s, the high 40s is as low as you'd want to go. I try to keep them between 50 and 55. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm going to take a couple comments real quick from all these awesome people. Good morning, Megan. Cheers. Thanks for coming up. DK, that's why I can't have lizards flying off the handle at any moment. Oh, they're not that bad. Sometimes they are. They're just, they like to jump sometimes. My bearded used to just leap. I had an iguana once who would just leap from like 6 feet up. But iguanas are designed, green iguanas, to drop from the tree canopy when birds of prey attack them. So they're used to dropping like 30 feet unscathed. It's just the way their body's built. So when she would want to go down, instead of like taking this giant ramp that I built for her, because I had a 6 foot by 4 foot by 5 foot enclosure for her, she would just walk off the ledge and just and I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Animals are amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Zach Keeley, what's up, bro? How you doing? Loyalty Organics always told HIGHDRO that if anyone, he would be the one to break my fear of snakes. So you have a thing. We're diving right into the reptiles, by the way.
Let's do it.
Derek Opperman, good morning from tour with Pacifier and Chopadelic and my Pinto. Nice. Good morning, bro. Thanks for taking your moment out of that tour. Tell everyone that said what's up, man. Hell yeah. I need to get all of those guys on this at some point too. I'm at Starbucks making sure to have coffee with Blaine. That's awesome. Thank you for going out of your way to join us. My hubby and I had a bunch of beardies several years ago. It's cold in Illinois for them right now. Temperature is 23 degrees. Yeah, you'll see some reptiles in some surprisingly cold temps.
I'm going to show you guys cool stuff today. Sorry.
All right. So you're real quick. Your other Instagram is Fear to Fascination, and that's the name of your reptile business, and you actually breed. Tell me just a quick overview of the business, and then let's do a tour.
Okay, cool. So the first thing I gotta say is shout out to everybody that's tapped in today. We really appreciate you guys dropping by, whether you're here with my brother Blaine or you're here with me. Shout out to Loyalty. So we'll start it with that when he was talking about, if anybody, you'd be the one to conquer my fear, right? So I do these nature hikes, when the weather is nice. We call it Nate Church. I love to take people out on Sundays, get together, bring a lot of people to where there's new people I don't even know. Of course, the people who are coming are meeting new people. We just get together, we bond, enjoy some doobies and the nice atmosphere out at Red Rock or Valley of Fire, any of the nature around Las Vegas area where I'm at. And so a friend of mine, Loyalty Cannabis, he came out on one of these trips. It's actually where he got to know me, where we became friends. And as wild as it is, we're walking the trail. A beautiful, beautiful Mojave rattlesnake on the trail. And my lady notices it and points it out. I mean, he just froze like I'd never seen before. I thought I was afraid of snakes prior to all of this. My man Ty was really afraid of snakes. He just, oh no, I mean, stiffened up. So we're like, don't worry, it's okay. He's way over there. He's rattling. I'll let you know. Actually, I don't even think it rattled, but we noticed it at least, right?
Yeah.
And so I just saw the fear in him, and it really reminds me of the fear I had. So we'll start there. Why is it called fear to fascination? And Ty, we'll get back to that, brother. I'm going to get you over here where there's nothing venomous that could ever hurt you, and you'll get to crack that fear one of these days. But
that's not entirely true.
Shh. Everything's in an enclosure. It can't get out. Don't worry. But it won't kill you. It might just mess your week up. But either way, Blaine knows he's had his hand at handling some of that stuff. Wild man. But yeah, so I was afraid of snakes. I got to this point in my life where I took a break from touring. For those of you that know, did a lot of touring with Fortunate Youth, did some touring with HIGHDRO over here. That's how Blaine and I ended up becoming friends. And while I was out on the road doing all that, eventually it just kind of got burnt out. I needed to take a break and really hone in on why I'm making this music, what I'm doing, you know, what's the purpose of this? Is this for me and my ego? Is this really my service in life? You know, deep soul searching. And that's where the yoga and the meditation got bigger in my life, right? And in the process of the yoga and meditation, you get to the most important questions in life. You know, what makes you happy? What is it that I'm afraid of in life? And more importantly, why am I afraid of these things, right? So the two fears that really came up in my mind when I think of fears that I have are a fear of heights and a fear of snakes, which is a strange one I'll get to right after the heights. So the heights, I just jumped out of plane. You know, obviously with a parachute, had that experience, scared out of my mind. That didn't quite conquer the fear. It was fun and all, but I was still like, yeah. So then I started rock climbing. I got into that to the point with my friend, and we were climbing 300, 600-foot double pitches. And officially the fear of heights is over. You know, you're looking down. It's like, hey, you got to trust in the gear. Otherwise, you're going to lose your mind up there, you know. And so you really conquer the mind on the rock. And so once I got past that, I said, why am I afraid of these snakes? Now, this one is really fascinating. Fear to fascination, because when I was a kid, I was in the desert nonstop. You know, northern Nevada, southern Nevada, I grew up in, and I'm out there getting lizards. My mom said I'd train the horny toads to do tricks around sticks and stuff like that. I don't know. I was too young to really remember. But I also would even catch rattlesnakes as a kid, I guess, and brought one in the house and freaked my mom out, and I didn't even know it was a rattlesnake. Well, time goes on. My grandmother gets ill, and she was deathly afraid of snakes. As a kid, I put a rubber snake in the fridge. I damn near gave her a heart attack. I wish I never did that, but it's just, she wouldn't even travel anywhere if she knew that there were snakes in that location. So when she got ill, I took care of her for the last few years of her life. I was just always with her. And I don't know how to explain it in any other way than it feels like her fear translated onto me, because through those years as an adult, I just had a dog. I never had any reptiles of any sorts. And it wasn't that I knew I was afraid of snakes, but all of a sudden I'd walk down the street. There'd be the guy at the art show with the big boa, you know, or the big retic. And I'm just like all the way across the block. Kids all around him, but I just know if I walk up to that snake, it's going to bite me. I mean, how many of us have had that feeling inside, you know, like, forget that. I'm not even going near it. So that was my feeling. That's how I felt about the snakes. And so I said, what is it? Why am I afraid of these snakes? I got to figure it out. I got to address this. And through meditation, I'm a bhakti practitioner. And so I follow a lot of the what's known as like the Hindu history. And so Shiva is always depicted with this cobra above his head. And that's when I started learning about how snakes are absolutely amazing creatures. They have no ears at all. They can feel the vibration of the earth like nothing else. And it was explained to me that when a storm comes, you know, a couple days ahead of time, you'll notice the animals, the cows and the horses running around, noticing that a storm is coming. And I believe they said the birds can tell even earlier than that, you know, they've got a better sense of it. But serpents, it said, can tell like a month before an earthquake is coming. They basically just feel the vibration of the earth like nothing else. So through meditation and such, that really drew me in, exploring the senses. And I said, I got to figure out what this fear is about. So it started with reading. I researched about these animals. I said, oh my God, there's so many different kinds. I had no idea. And then I went to the pet shop and I thought, I've got to be able to touch this thing again, you know, and I get a little corn snake and I kept trying to handle different ones at different places, but nothing. I was scared out of my mind, Blaine. I tell you, this tiny little worm. And finally, one day I go to a smoke shop or a reptile shop, Reptiles and Reefs. And I find my little guy, Samadhi, who's right over here. If I pulled him out right now, he'd probably still bite me, a little turd. But I get this little corn snake out, and he's friendly as can be, Blaine. I mean, just so chill. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. But here's where the real problem came in. I'm a vegetarian. I'm like I say, a bhakti practitioner. I wouldn't kill a soul. I wouldn't want to, So can I really have something that's going to kill something to eat it, a rodent? And it really taught me the circle of life more and understanding what this world is all about. And that, you can't be naive to what's really happening in this world. And that's just what they eat. If I could feed them carrots, I grow them all day, but it doesn't work that way, So either way, I get the snake, I feed it, everything's going good. Well, about the first or second week, I accidentally leave the enclosure a little open. The guy sneaks out, and I mean, he's this long, he's like this big around. So we're searching everywhere. I cannot believe it. I find him behind the couch, a little shoestring. And when I catch him this time, Samadhi is not chill Samadhi. He's just flailing, right? And so I'm trying to hold him, and this little guy bites this tiny little piece of my finger. And I'm like, I just jump. Thank God snake's fine and everything. I get the snake, I put it away, and I grab my finger, and you couldn't squeeze blood out of that little spot. So what do we fear, Blaine? It's not the snake. That's foolish. We fear the bite, right? We're afraid that it's going to bite me, and it's going to be so terrible. So now all of a sudden, I wasn't afraid of the bite. And that night, I would dream about snakes night after night. But the funny thing is I started seeing ball python heads, which I thought were so scary, which is hilarious, right? They're little puppies, too.
Yeah, right.
So I kept seeing those. I started researching. Before you know it, encyclopedias full of information on reptiles, the genetics, and how you could make things that no one else in the world would ever make. I could take a brown snake and a yellow snake, and if I put the right two together with the right genetics, I make an all-white snake with blue eyes. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. So as soon as that happened, I bought an albino, I bought a banana, and I go, I'm going to try this myself.
Those are morphs, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. Different kinds of snakes.
He didn't just buy a banana.
Yeah, there we go. So I didn't even think. Okay, so I'll try to long story short it. Basically, I get a bunch of these animals, I research, I fall in love with them. And the next thing you know, I realize this is a big passion of mine. I need to help other people find out how amazing these animals are. So I started a business called Fear to Fascination. And I travel around, I go to different reptile shows, and we help kids and adults to conquer their fear of snakes. They get to handle them. And, often they're purchasing these snakes because they're just so beautiful. The snakes sell themselves. But for us, it's just all about conquering the fear and bringing the education to people and letting them know, hey, we share this planet with these animals. I used to be the kind of guy that would say, snakes, spiders, kill them, get rid of them all. They shouldn't be here. But come on, man. We share this world with so many other creatures. It's not just ours. And so that's the ego, that's the mind that, you must overcome. And that's fear to fascination.
I love it, man. Yeah. So many people have this only save the cute ones mentality. And it's crazy. I mean, that's honestly every snake that I have for the purpose of being an ambassador animal.
I love it.
And that's like I want people to have a positive experience with snake, because I mean you said it yourself in so many words. Fear is literally a lack of knowledge.
That's it.
When you add knowledge into the equation, a fear becomes a respect. We're genetically hardwired to fear things that could potentially hurt us, and venomous snakes can potentially hurt us. And I think it's genetically hardwired into a lot of people to be cautious around snakes, and that caution over millennia turns into a fear when it becomes a disconnect. When you're out in your environment all the time and you can recognize things, your body tells you, whoa, that thing's rattling at me, I'm going to keep a healthy distance. And then, but that turns into fear when you're isolated from those environments, and you don't have the knowledge to see the difference, to respect the difference. And I feel like once people are educated, like, oh, this guy is different from this guy, this guy's actually really cool looking, this thing is fascinating, but I need to have a healthy distance from it. Like that's where the, just like the fear of heights. The fear of heights is something that keeps us from hurting ourselves to an extent, but it can also hinder our lives if we let it. And yeah, the fact that you're doing that with these animals is incredible, and it's super awesome that you're taking the time to do something not just for the money, but for the for the betterment of your community.
Well, Blaine, you nailed it with something important you said I have to touch back on, and it's that, you really, oh, son of a gun. It was right on the tip of my mind when I was in
no.
No, it was, oh, okay. So when people are afraid of the snakes, especially, as you mentioned, conquering the fear, that brings on the knowledge. I say, if you're afraid of snakes, even more reason why you need to learn about them. Because the more that you know about the snake, just like you said, the more you can keep yourself from ever possibly being bit, from ever having a negative encounter. If you have that fear, and God forbid you come by one and you go, ah! I mean, that's how it's going to bite you. You just scared the crap out of it and threw your hand in front of it. But if you're calm and cautious, then you're going to have a lot less likely chance that you're going to get bit, So yeah, education is key with that stuff, no doubt.
Yeah, for real. I'm gonna go through a couple of comments real quick. Let's see. Good morning, Jennifer. We're gonna let Hydro recover for a second. Reptiles do go into winter. They do go through a form of hibernation in the reptile world. It's called brumation. It's slightly different because of the way that the organs react. Oh, that's a cute little croc skink. But yeah, so a lot of them will brumate or hibernate in the winter. Oh no, not this story. I almost cried, I think, to be honest. Oh, thanks for being honest, bro. When I was younger, I had chameleons. Chameleons are amazing. They're so hard to take care of, though. I commend you.
Yeah, I'll go grab a chameleon for you guys.
Nice. DK, I love this story. I overcame my discomfort with snakes when I found holding and starting to embrace my meditation practices. Since I really had to be present and tune into my breath. That's right. DK went from extreme fear to owning 2 snakes.
DK is awesome.
I know, right? Jason, good morning, bro. Thanks for joining. Harry, good morning. Thanks for joining. And Candace wants to know, what's the easiest reptile to start with as a pet? Oh, that's a beautiful. Is that a panther?
Yeah. No. Sorry, this is veiled.
Veiled. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm chameleons are not my forte.
It's not a ton of mine either. This one is more my girlfriend's. This is something that she really wanted. But these guys are so cool, the way that they reach out with their hands, and I just love them. And the way they eat, their tongues are wild. This one is just stunning. It's got a lot of beautiful color to it. Now, as far as the easiest, reptile or snake? Reptile.
Yeah, easiest reptile. You go first, and then I'll give you mine. We'll see if we have the same.
Okay. Well, when it comes to easiest reptile, a lot of things come into play, right? So we're talking about what you're feeding the animal, the care that goes into the animal, the cost that goes into the animal. I guess if I would think of all of those things at once, one of the animals that I think is the best pet for folks is these little guys right here. Crested geckos are an awesome starting place for people. And the one thing about them is you're not going to interact and see them a lot because they are nocturnal, so they are going to come out more at night, but look at how beautiful these are. Here, let me get this thing down. They've got these eyelashes. They're just so stinking cute. Many people have probably seen these before. These are very common in the pet trade. One thing that they love to leap, so they are the cutest with that. But their tails can come off. That's one unfortunate thing. If they get spooked, they could lose their tail. But these little jumps that they do are just the stinking cutest. Watch this. Come on, you can do it. You got it. Go ahead, little guy. This is Charlie. And Charlie's got a girlfriend in there, so we're working on some babies too. Oh, you're not going to do the leap?
Only when you ask him to will he not, right?
Chameleons are great. Yeah, no doubt. Chameleons are great. A lot of people love bearded dragons as well. That's another good place to start. But the reason I didn't mention them is, there we go. Do you see that? The reason that I didn't mention them is because there's a lot that goes into them. With these guys, you can mix up this little fruit formula for them, and they just eat right out of this. So this is great. It's really easy. It's very affordable. As far as a light, they just take a UVB light. They don't need any heat. They like regular room temperature. Whereas for your bearded dragons, they take a heavy heat light bulb. This little pump right here. You see them with the light kind of messing with them, but they're really awesome. People love those. I'd say with lizards, bearded dragons, crested geckos, that's a great place to start.
Yeah, I would also go with leopard geckos.
Yeah, totally.
or African fat tail geckos if you want something a little more rare. But like,
that's cool.
For me, the criteria is what kind of space do you have? The closer that your environment is to your animal's environment, the easier it's going to be to care for them. So if I for example have a rosy boa and a gopher snake, two of the snakes that I own, and they're both native to this area. I didn't go steal them out of the wild. They're both captive born and bred. Try not to ever take animals out of the wild. But their environments are very, very similar. Well, they are San Diego environments. So theoretically, if I could just let them go in my room, they would be fine as far as temperature goes, as far as humidity goes, and all of that. So the closer that your environment mimics the natural environment, the less work you have to put in. If you have a bearded dragon, which like him really, really hot, like a hot spot of around 95 to 110 degrees, you have to work really hard to, one, give them that heat, but two, give them a large enough space so that you don't heat the entire enclosure and cook them. And it's a bit of a balancing act when you get into certain reptiles, and some reptiles have huge humidity requirements where you have to either get a misting or a spraying system or constantly be spraying. Yeah, so things to look at, and what do you want to feed them, how often you want to feed them. Most lizards eat every 2-3 days, sometimes every day, whereas most snakes will eat once a week to once a month
and poop once a week. How awesome.
So, yeah.
Snakes are. Go ahead.
It's just yeah. It depends on what you want, but like I always look at something that's, how much space do you have, how much time do you have, is the animal big enough and hardy enough to be handled, especially if you have kids? Is the animal not too big to be handled by one person? Those things like are generally my criteria. Leopard geckos are great for me for that reason. And crested geckos are amazing too. Go ahead, with any other info or suggestions. Or
I had a couple things. I was going to show you the lizard not to get, for one.
Perfect.
And then I was going to say, as I sit and I think about it, I try to start with lizards because most people are more comfortable with something that has legs first when it comes to reptiles. But snakes are definitely the place to start if you're thinking about getting into reptiles, and the easiest thing to keep because they eat once a week. They go to the bathroom once a week. They're so chill. I mean, the beauty of it is like a dog or a cat. You've got to take care of that thing every day. A dog, you've got to walk it. It's one of the great things at the shows that we help parents with is they come to the reptile shows because they're looking for an alternative to a dog. They want to help their kids build a responsibility. But the problem is you get a dog and the next thing you know, the kid's not feeding it every day. The kid's not going to walk it. So it's the parent's pet. But with these reptiles, you feed them once a week, go to the bathroom once a week. They're so easy to take care of. And God forbid you go on vacation for 5-6 days. Animal does not care. It's not bothered by it at all. You put a nice fresh water in there and it's perfectly fine. Your dog's going to lose its mind. It may die. Who knows? It doesn't get fed or water or just the attention in general, So they're awesome pets for that. And, they're great places to start for kids to build those responsibilities. And that's why we focus mainly on ball pythons, one of the reasons. is they're easy to take care of. There's so many different morphs. There are thousands of different morphs. There are so many colors and combinations. Every day there are people making animals that have never been created before, so they are world's first animals. These animals are not only beautiful, but they are extremely valuable. I'm talking $10, $20, $30,000 a snake for these animals. And so they'll go to some people that are celebrities, some people that are collectors. And so we focus on a wide range of different animals, from stuff that people are able to afford to a lot of the things that I like to make that I want to see these world's firsts. I want to create something that's never been made and see what we can do when we combine these genetics. And, you know, last year we'd hatched out a $7,500 snake, and it's constantly growing and growing. Of course, you don't even want to get rid of that one. You want to keep it and hold it. It's so beautiful, you know, and then you want to tie that into more of your projects that you're doing. So there's a lot to it. And in doing all of that, I'll say that it's very important that if you get that deep down the rabbit hole of breeding, if you get deep down that rabbit hole of keeping reptiles, that you focus somewhat of your energy on conservation. And so that's why a few of the animals in this collection here, they are literally about to be on the extinct list. They are already endangered, hard to come across. For instance, these geckos here, they're from an area in Madagascar where there's only 1% of their jungle left. Can you see it in there, Blaine?
Very vaguely.
Okay, let's see if I turn this light off, if it'll give you a little better. Can you see him?
Oh, yeah, there he is. He's right up against that branch.
Yeah, so these reptiles are absolutely amazing. They're super rare. And there's another one right down here.
Heck yeah. What are those called?
So these are giant leaf-tailed geckos, is their, you know, the short terminology, but it's Uroplatus fimbriatus is their scientific name. And yeah, where these animals are from is only in Madagascar. There was a huge jungle that they once resided in, and we tore that jungle down to 1% of that jungle. They came back, and they said, we want more of those trees. They took that 1% down to 1% of that 1%. So there is next to nothing left in this area. You won't find these animals in any other region other than in private collections like this. God forbid we destroy their home. People like me are working to breed these animals, so God forbid we ever had to reintroduce them back into the wild, we'd be able to do that, hopefully. So I keep a couple of projects like that where we're working conservation projects. They're a lot harder because the animals aren't as in the pet tree. There isn't as much information. Whereas to ball pythons and snakes, I have literally consumed at least this much information of huge, thick books, textbooks of information. The giant leaf tails have one book that's that big. So we're writing the book as we speak, you know, basically every day, learning new things about these animals. So I love that part of it too. I feel if you're going to get that deep into it and you're profiting off from it, we got to give back to these animals.
Oh yeah, it's just whatever business you're in, it's just a general good lesson. Be an ethical business. Take a portion of what you've gained from whatever industry you're in, and reinvest a portion back into making that industry and the things that you love so much sustainable.
Exactly.
It's a great life lesson, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Great, yeah.
Want to see
good morning to Mickey, by the way.
Want to see the lizard you shouldn't get?
Yes.
Give me 1 second.
And he pulls out a croc monitor. All right, guys. I hope you're enjoying this. HIGHDRO is also a musician, and we'll get to that in a second. But him and I both have the same nerd out fascination, and I know you want.
So
you got a little tegu.
Get one of these. These are a little bit big.
Those are
They're
gorgeous.
awesome, but man, they're feisty. Some people say that they're not. Some people say they don't have any issues with tegus. But this little guy, when it comes to breeding season, he is a firecracker. And they get to be about 5 to 6 feet. So we're talking like an 8-foot plus enclosure.
Yeah.
If you don't have a really large place, you don't want to scoop one of these. Stick with the Cresties.
No, those guys are Argentine red tegus, if I'm not mistaken, and they are if you spend enough time with them, they can be puppy dogs, but they're so the thing is, the smarter an animal is, the more time you have to spend with it, because if it's super smart and it doesn't like you, it's going to use all of its intelligence to make your life hell to get away from you. If the animal is super smart and you train it and are able to use that intelligence in a proper way, then you can have the most amazing pets. Same thing with dogs. Like, a lot of really smart breeds are the most horrible breeds to own if you don't spend the time utilizing their intelligence, because it's the same thing. If you're bored in school every day and you're a smart kid, you're going to be in the back of the class, like doodling, making the life hell for the teacher, because you're not being utilized to your potential. And so you're taking all that intelligence and finding creative ways to avoid school. It's the same thing with animals, especially large intelligent lizards. Monitor lizards, I think, would fall under that same category.
Totally. Yeah, these guys are very intelligent. That's an Argentine red tegu. I'm sorry, you probably told them already, but I didn't have my earphone in. And yeah, they get to be 5 to 6 feet long with that tail. It's just a lot to deal with. I mean, when it's not breeding season, he's chill. He's pretty friendly. But lately, it's been a handful, Blaine. I go to take him out, and the past couple times he's really worried me. This guy comes lunging out for food, and his mouth gets this big. So it's like, you do not want to get hit with those teeth. I used to, every time that I'd open the enclosure, I'd put my hand in front of him. He'd lick my hand, and we'd be fine. Well, one of the last times I went to put my hand in front of him, and I'm talking over a year plus we've been having this interaction, I put my hand in front of him, and thank God I was on my toes. He just launched at me, and I backed up real quick, and I'm like, bro, no, not food. So
right,
feeding time has been interesting lately.
Do you have the I don't know if you've looked into this, but one of the things that's really great with tegus and monitors is target training.
Oh yeah, I've seen that, and I haven't done any of that yet with the little red ball and such.
Yeah, because if you can give them a clear distinction as to when feeding time is happening, you can help minimize that response. So unless they see that target after a good year or so of training, that's what's going to spur their feeding response. So if the target is not there, no feeding response.
Yeah, I should have started with that, to be honest. Yeah, I was still pretty noob when I got into all of this. So it was
you learn as you go, man. I've never done it.
Yeah. Yeah, we are having too much fun with these reptiles. I don't even think they know that we made music together.
I mentioned that while you were going out to do the thing. So I want to pivot to that, honestly. But real quick, what's this guy's name? I always like to hear what people name their reptiles, and probably pets in general.
I feel I got the coolest reptile names there are. I have snakes named Fluffy. I got the Argentine tegu. He's got a really cool name though, as Ubteo. I love Ubteo. I got Ubteo, Lil Pump. I've got Fidel, the Cuban night owl, which is really cool. Sorry, Cuban false chameleon.
Yeah.
I've got Charlie, Jasmine. I've got Ziggy, Lil Frilly. I've got Penelope, the bearded dragon. We've got Raku, the red-eyed croc skink. I have 3 mountain horn lizards in here. One is named Sid Vicious, the other one is Black Ass, the other one is Lucifer. Samadhi. I didn't name my giant leaf tail, I just realized. Yeah, I haven't named the trio of them yet. And then we've got some carpet pythons and a carpet diamond hybrid up here, and then I have 2 bedrooms that are dedicated to breeding. And yes, every single one of my 200-some snakes has a name. I love them all.
That's amazing. So carpet pythons are one of my all-time favorites. The only reason I don't have a carpet python is because I have to travel and I have to rely on people around me to take care of my reptiles, and I only want animals that I feel comfortable letting other people handle when I'm away. And because of the the nature of carpet pythons being an arboreal snake who strikes from the trees. Yeah, they have a tendency to have a very, very uppity food response, and they get very, very big. Otherwise, I would definitely have one.
Yeah. So one thing about those, for folks that don't know, is if you go to some of those cages, some of the enclosures that you'll see, and the animals like striking at it or afraid, those animals, they'll be like that when they're inside of them because they're so territorial, you know, Blaine, for their enclosure. But as soon as you get them out, they're just sweethearts. All of a sudden they go, oh, you're a tree. All right, cool. I'll just hang out on you for the most part.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's even with my animals. I bought a hook just so that just so that when someone else is taking care of them, you can give them a tap and let them know it's not time to eat. It's not dinner time. Anyway, we could talk about this forever, and we'll probably talk about this some more. But let's talk about some music because. Oh wait, real quick. You did not disappoint with those names. Clap, clap, heart, heart, heart.
Thank you.
Kaylin, hello. How are you doing? Thanks
the snake names would really crack you up. I got too many funny names.
All right, man. So let's talk about music. I met you playing music, and I've had some amazing musical interactions with you. So if you just want to maybe talk about a brief overview of your music and what's going on currently with your music.
Yeah, so I love music. If you think I love reptiles, that is my second passion, which I do love them extremely so much, but music is my number one. Since I was 10 years old, I've been writing music, been freestyle rapping for a long time. I grew up heavy on that classic hip hop. I'm talking the KRS-One, Public Enemy, NWA, Snoop Dogg, so many of my favorite old school artists, you know, hip hop that had a meaning, that had a message in it, people being able to express the environment that they're in and try and uplift themselves. And so something that's always drawn me into music was that it's an outlet for you to express yourself and to help people through the experiences that we've been through is my goal, because the music helped me to stay alive. You know, it was just, sometimes music was all that I ever had. So for me, it was just so uplifting, and it was my way of like really getting through my toughest times. And when I found that I'm a creator of music as well, oh, this is my mission now, to give that back to other people. So the music I make is healing music. It's uplifting music. I incorporate my life lessons. I've been through a really tough life at a young age, and I found a way to see the light and see the beauty in it, because it really takes seeing the darkness in life to understand and appreciate the light. You know, and to move towards it always, and to always find a positive in every negative. This is something that's been a blessing in my life through the hard times that I've been through. And then today, the music that I love so much, this hip hop music, is doing the opposite in a mainstream effect, right? So it seems that the music is kind of bringing people down. It's influencing people in a negative way, and it's turning people towards a materialistic lifestyle so much more than ever before. I mean, there was always the glamorizing and chains and whatever and hip hop, but it's just a whole nother thing now. And I try to just put my spin, my love for reggae music. I mean, roots rock reggae music. I love to fuse that into the hip hop. So I would go and see so many of these classic, Barrington Levy, and you'd see Israel Vibration and all these artists, and they go to do their shows in America, and they're just blown away that there isn't anybody but white people there. And I've heard some interviews where they were kind of discouraged about it. Like, where is the black youth in America? Why are they listening to this message and not, embracing the reggae and these powerful leaders that had something to say? So I saw that. I saw what was missing in that connection. And I thought, man, the people in the area I grew up in North Las Vegas, East Side Las Vegas, being one of the only white guys pretty much on the block, having all Mexican, Hispanic, black friends growing up. Implementing that message that people needed from that area of positivity, of strength, of wisdom, of, the things that matter most in life. So I try to implement that into my hip hop message as much as possible. And just really uplift people. And it's been working. It's been going good. I love it. And yeah.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Let's pop to the comments. Jen says, love it. Candace says, that's why I don't listen to the radio, really.
Right.
Jesse says the way HIGHDRO speaks is exciting. I'm definitely going to need to check out his music. Very
Oh,
passionate.
thank you.
Kaylin says, yes, say it louder for the people in the back. DK, I knew that energy from this episode would be proper. And what we got? We got Loyalty Organics, his latest album, Hiatus. The entire album helped me through a tough time. Definitely saved my life in many ways. I'm encouraged anyone to let you speak to it. Yeah, some great
Thank you,
great
brother.
great
That's
comments
beautiful.
based off of this, which is really, really cool. Speaking of your latest album, this is this comes around to it. You and I did a track together.
I got to share this with your listeners, Blaine, because a lot of people get to see so many different sides of you and how awesome of a person you are in general. I think, that's the cool thing about us being able to share this social media platforms is that we get to bring these people in our lives and meet people that we maybe never would have met before and pass this energy of what we feel on. And you always inspire me. You're always on there doing the episodes. I love getting on there, such positive energy, whether you're sleepy or you're in it, whatever it is. But you have so many different talents that have to have light shined on them. And I know they know you for, the show that you're doing. I know they know you for your amazing guitar playing and the performance aspects on stage. You are one of a kind. But what they may not know you for as much is what an amazing producer you are. You are the first person that I have ever had in a studio session tell me to rewrite something. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So Blaine and I worked on, he sent me some instrumentals. Eventually, when it ended up happening, the song was Determination that we went with. I went in the studio with the singer B Rose, so talented. She did the hook, I did the verses. Blaine got to watch this song build as I would send him different pieces of just the audio recordings. And when we sat in there and I thought, Blaine, I think we got it. I think this is the one. I sent it to him and he goes, man, you did so good on these verses that you have to rewrite the hook. And she's so good on this. And I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean? And he's like, I mean, the verses are powerful, man. You got to come with an even more powerful hook. And it wasn't even 1 second. I mean, it hit me at first where I was like, what? A rewrite? And then I'm like, okay, I'll take that challenge on. Let's do this, And I sat there in the studio and it took us about, 20, 30 minutes just kind of getting in the zone. And boom, like anything, the lyrics just come popping into your head, right? And I wrote them down and I looked at it and I was like, oh shit, is Blaine going to like this? Is he not going to like it? I'm like, this is it. This is the one. And you just feel it inside. So we sent B Rose in there. She records it. I send it over to you and you're like, yes, this is the one. And you doing that made that song so much better that I don't even want to work with anybody if they don't send me back to rewrite something again.
I mean, it's just nice to have perspective, right? So many people are just like in the reptile hobby, or in any hobby, people. So many people are just trying to make a quick buck, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have necessarily the passion. Or maybe they used to and they lost it along the way, or maybe the system beat them down, whatever. For whatever reason, I don't want to say anyone is inherently, a lazy or a bad person, because that's I think that's wrong. I just think people have moments where they get overwhelmed with something, but for the most part, like there's this lack of accountability and quality of work. People are just getting stuff done to get through their day, and when it comes to music, I want to make sure that I'm never doing that, even if the job itself is menial. Like, oh, write this intro music for this podcast. I just want to make sure that there's a little bit of passion and a little bit of myself through it. And I want to make sure that if I have the chance, I can help make someone else's vision better. You know what I mean? And if there's different visions, that's fine. They're an artist. You're an artist. You ultimately have the say. But if I don't give you my ideas as to how I can make your thing the best possible, then I don't feel like I'm doing my job as someone who's helping to create music, if that makes sense. It's 100%. A little early for me.
No, it totally makes sense. And this is the reason that I always prefer to work with live bands. I've done a couple of albums with some of the people that follow my music. I've done, an album with GDB, and then I've rocked with so many bands just doing features and songs. And the feeling of being on stage and having that live presence each time, or each night, maybe it's just a little bit different. Maybe it just hits in a little different way, or you switch it up a little bit even, God forbid one of the musicians goes off a little, but you find a way to freestyle it out and have fun with it. And that organic feeling is just, for me, I know one day I will have a band backing me. And that's the difference with some of your listeners may not be familiar, but in hip hop, we have what they're called beat makers. You know what I mean? You have a beat maker, someone who makes beats, and then you have a producer. And a lot of the people in the hip hop realm would call themselves producers because they produce a beat. They make a beat. But that is not producing. That is not full on production. When you get in there with somebody that truly is going to tailor the sounds of the instrument to your voice, that is going to tell you, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's production, and that is taking it to a whole nother level. Much as I love hip hop for it being the rawest form of poetry, never could you pack so many words in such a place, that it's such a short space. And it's often so passionate, so much of the things that you'll hear in that realm. But that's great. That's nice. I love that raw form of it all. But when you take it to another level and you clean it and you polish it and it just really, really makes the music shine as it should.
Hell yeah. I love that. I am I'm in the where we at? I'm just going to play like a little clip of our tune. And hopefully I don't get flagged by the algorithm, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Can I rap along to it, or should I just sit back and enjoy it?
It's up to you. It's up to you. There might be a little delay. I'm not sure.
Okay, then I'll just let them hear it. Yeah.
But
I know some people like the live performance.
Yeah, exactly. That would be even better. We'll have to find a way to make that happen for sure.
Okay.
But for now, this is a little clip of the song called Determination, HIGHDRO featuring B Rose. And I helped. But yeah, we're just going to do a little 10-second clip. Now, if you're on my Patreon, you have this. You have it for free. You have a downloaded high-quality version for free if you want it, plus the artwork. HIGHDRO was gracious enough to let me share this with my Patreon fam in high-quality audio. So you can go back through the post, find it there. Or you can just get on Spotify, YouTube, whatever your preferred platform is, and make sure to give them a like and a follow as well if you dig it. But here's the vibe.
If I sit and say I'm really through with it, and have I given all I done to truly try and make it fit? No. Some will fail from the moment that they start, cause they never really gave it their heart. You must believe if you plan to achieve, won't see the fruit the first time you plant a seed. No. But if you water and you give it that light, then you'll start to see your blessing show sight. The big key, you gotta keep your mind right before you know it. All your dreams take flight, yeah.
Flying so high, they'll never know where I've been. I ask God why He put the power in my pen. Flying so high, they'll never know where I've been. With Him by my side, it don't matter if I lose or win.
Ever since I heard my first rhyme, picked that pen up and wrote that line.
All right, we're going to cut it there just so I don't get monetization flagged. But yeah, that's a little clip of Determination. Some of you guys might have heard a fun little guitar line in that song, and that you guys know me. And then when I make music, I'm always trying to find fun, exciting things for me in the music. So that little line is actually my little electric ukulele.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's my little shred ook, and it just encompassed the vibe kind of perfectly for that, and it was a great excuse to bust it out when I wrote it. But yeah, man, I'm gonna hit the like button on that. If you listen to something on YouTube and you dig it, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm actually doing that right now. I don't know why I'm not subscribed to you already, but I am now.
Thank you, brother.
All right, let's.
It. We got a lot
no
of music
worries.
to still make, so we're just getting started. I already know.
Hell yeah. Let me roll through some comments here. Determination hits close to me. Thank you as well, Blaine. Oh yeah, man. I'm just glad that I was able to help facilitate, you know, some inspiration for sure. And yeah, that song is super. I mean, the title says it all. It is the most inspirational freaking tune. It's just like, if you're having a rough day, this is your song.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
That's that whole album was really just designed for, Blaine. I tell you, you know, called it hiatus because it had been 4 years since I released an album. And I'm the kind of guy who's like releasing an album every year. I had 7 albums out prior to that. So for me, that album, it was everything. It felt like it took a lifetime to create that. And every song was just me giving a big piece of myself, what I was doing, you know, I wanted to share with the fans and what helped me get through that time. And what's so beautiful about the music is I kind of always been ahead of the curve a bit. So I went into quarantine about a year or two before quarantine started. I was prepared for, you know, being home and trying to find a way to still, you know, dabble in my artistry without being out there on the road. And so this music was just really to help get people out of that COVID energy and uplift people. Every song on that album is geared and designed to just really help people. You know, hopefully bring some positivity into your life where you can't find it.
It definitely does that, man. It definitely does that. Let's
It should make you happy.
Yay! Ball pythons. Yes. We need to do that here in a second. Real quick. Andrew, good morning. Oh, there it is. That's the wrong one. How are you? Speaking of true producers, Andrew McKee is my
Oh, nice.
hero.
What up, Andrew? We're gonna be doing some tunes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the dude is incredible beatsmith as well. Also a true producer. He's always making suggestions to make people's songs better. And just like you were talking about, you know, he's a big inspiration and reason that you know, that I interact more and not just like, here's a beat.
Yeah, your guys' band is insane. We could sit here and have a whole podcast on that. You're such talented musicians. It's bonkers. But I'm hoping to get Andrew on to do some mixing for some songs. I need to get some recording in. My main guy I've been recording with got COVID recently, so I'm just waiting to hear back from him. We've been pushing back studio sessions to get some songs finished. So hopefully soon we'll be ready to send some things out to Andrew and have him sauce it up in a whole nother way, make it sound even better than, you know, what we put out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what you got coming down the pipeline. And yeah, hopefully we can get some new stuff together as well. That'd be great. All right, so let's take a moment. I know we've been going for a good solid hour here. Can you all right, I want you to take maybe your and only if you want to, maybe your top, I don't know, 3 or so favorite ball python breeding morphs. So we were talking about this concept called morphs, and a lot of people aren't familiar with that. And it's basically when you breed a dog, you breed specific traits in dogs. Like if you're breeding a pug versus breeding a German Shepherd, you're breeding for different traits that you like about a dog. When people breed ball pythons, they're doing the same thing, but a lot of that has to do with the color and the patterning of the animal. Ball pythons are very genetically diverse, and we have a very genetically diverse population in the breeding programs around the world. So there's a lot of really cool morphs or genetic variations that we can get from these animals, and since you mainly breed ball pythons, I figured it'd be kind of cool to show off a couple. This is a pied, if I'm not mistaken.
Nailed it. So yeah, this is probably the most sought after. This and an albino when we're talking about recessive genetics. So we won't get into genetics too much because that, like I said, it is textbooks worth of information. But basically, there are some streamlined animals that people really like to get into. Albino, you'll see, is that white and yellow snake. Probably don't even need to really grab one because you guys are familiar with those. They're really beautiful, bright snakes. This pied snake, as you see, it'll throw what they call saddles, some of the pattern, and then it will throw these white blotches all over the animal as well. And so really, really stunning animal because it looks just like a normal ball python would. And then all of a sudden you'll get these white patches. And through 16 years plus of genetically, working with these animals, they've been able to create things like smiley faces that'll pop up on these deals. And this guy has a little boogeyman face right here. This little and it's reversible one, so nose boops. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys on a really cool adventure because something really neat just happened in our incubator. Babies just came out of the egg. So you get to see 2-day-old babies.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then I'll show you a couple of the different species or different genetics in here. As Blaine was mentioning, don't believe there is a single species of animal in the reptile world that has as many morphs, different genetics involved, as ball pythons. It's a whole nother level over there. So there are thousands of different genes involved in these species. And we're still working every day to make new ones all the time. This is the breeding area here. So this is where animals are all being paired up. I have my incubator that is set up right here. And we'll go ahead and fire it up and pull some babies out for you guys.
So while you're doing that, what's the giant snake on your wall? What morph is that?
This here. This here is my stuffed reticulate. No, this is stuffed animal.
It's a stuffed morph.
So in the incubator, this is where the eggs are gonna go in here. Can you see these eggs in here?
Yeah, yeah.
And so they're gonna sit in there for 60 days until they are ready to hatch out. And then the eggs, you'll notice them start to dimple in, and the animals have this little tooth on the end of their nose that they're born with. And so they'll scrape across the egg like this until they end up cracking the egg open. And then when they crack the egg open, they'll come climbing out. And this is what you get. These are 1-day-old snakes.
Oh, they're so cute.
Now, are you ready for something awesome? Watch this. This is what got me into breeding these beautiful things. When you take this snake and this snake, which are both brown and gold, they just so happen to be Mojaves. So when you put these genes together, this is what you can hatch out. An all-white snake with blue eyes. This is a blue-eyed leucistic. The lighting is not the greatest right now in here, I'm sorry, but as you see, it's all white. So these hatched out in the exact same clutch. These are 3 siblings that came out of this pairing. And to make these snakes, I bred 2 adult snakes that look just like this together, and they made this. And as these snakes age, I mean, they're just stunning.
Yeah, so with the blue-eyed leucistics, when they come out of the egg, they're almost pink. They're like almost a bright pink, but as they get older, that pink goes out into this beautiful white, right? And that's my favorite morph of snakes. So you can go ahead and just send that guy over to me.
Yeah, we love these ones. Are so sought after. People love blue-eyed leucistics like crazy, just as we do. And yeah, that was one of my first snakes, was Lucy, that got me into these. And she's in shed right now, so you're not going to see her stunning blue eyes, but as you see, she's a big girl now. She's getting to the point where she's about ready to breed some herself. Now, if we take this snake and another all-white blue-eyed leucistic and put them together, well, then 100% of the babies will come out with these white snakes that are blue eyes. So very stunning. There's some other stuff that I really want to show you that's just going to blow your mind.
Please.
So
this is going to be the longest episode ever. We will be streaming until tonight, guys.
Yeah, right.
This is gonna single-handedly bring up my Twitch.
So one thing that's really popular are these banana ball pythons, right? Well, there's another genetic called the ultramel, and it's similar to the banana, absolutely stunning. But the difference is a banana will start to get black dots all on it as it ages, and this is why you get that name, the banana. So this was my first snake ever to conquer my fear. Nice. This is Nanners. Yeah, he was my first ball python. But you see, they get these little black speckles all throughout them, little freckles, just like me. So they're awesome. and they're just flicking the tongue, and he's just checking the air out. This is how they smell. They have a Jacobson's organ, and so they can just flick that tongue and they can taste what's in the area, and they say, oh, that's Papa. All right, everything's cool, no problem. So yeah, that's the banana. And then you see the Ultramel. Looks very similar, but again, you're not going to get any of that black speckling that's in there. Now, I'm going to show you something really, really cool here. This is a snake that we hatched out 2 years ago. It's called a leopard orange dream, and it is het for clown. Just really, really bright oranges. Absolutely stunning animal. And has this orange head. You know what? Let me turn this light on. I can actually increase.
Yeah, it's hard to see some of these colors on the camera. The camera doesn't necessarily pick up the vibrance of some of these animals, especially with iridescence, which is something that makes a snake shine under sunlight.
Yeah, these deals are absolutely beautiful. And speaking of that, you know, you've seen that sunbeam I have, which is just a moving rainbow. It's so stunning.
Oh my God, sunbeams are gorgeous.
And then check this out. This one is really, whoa, okay, come on. So that's what I'm talking about right there. If you know the animal's behavior and you watch them, it was about to strike at me because it thought I was food. Look at this thing. So you get this contrast of white to orange belly. Yeah. This is an orange dream chocolate pastel pinstripe.
Oh my God.
Yeah, lots of genetics involved in this. Very, very cool snake. And yeah, and it has a sister that's very similar to the look as well. So we'll leave that one. It's different.
Real quick, DK, rainbow snake need sunbeam snakes are beautiful, but they are a burrowing snake and they're almost never visible.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's like having the most, you know, being the best guitar player ever and never leaving your garage.
It is. Yeah. It is similar to weed strains, actually. You know, that I was into that prior to this. I got, you know, was all about that culture. And so a lot of my friends that are into the breeding are like, wow, man, this is just like, you know, breeding weed, breeding cannabis. A little bit different because they're living animals, you know, but when it comes to the genetics and the strain crossing, all that stuff. So this is an Xanthic. Now, what's amazing about these is it completely mutes all of the yellow, oranges, any reds, any of those colors, and so you get the newspaper snake. It's black and gray and white.
Yeah, I love Axanthic. So that's my other favorite morph combination, like Axanthic pieds, where you get the full black and white snake. Is oh my God,
eggs all in here. So a lot of these girls are gravid. It's breeding season right now, and I'm expecting 30 more clutches this year. So 30 clutches times 6 to 8 babies a piece. It's a lot of work, a lot of mouths to feed. This is an absolutely stunning animal as well. This is a bamboo. So you'll see totally different kind of pattern. It's got this like yellowish vanilla cream type style color to it. And this animal, we'll talk a little bit of genetics, is heterozygous for tri-stripe, which is a recessive gene. So if you're interested in any of this episode and the breeding is fascinating you, I highly recommend you go and look into recessive and codominant genes, and you will go down a rabbit hole that is never ending. There's just so much to learn about it. But basically, I can have a snake that looks normal, but it has one copy of the albino gene, right? We can understand that. That's the white and yellow snake. And then I have another snake that's either albino or it has one of those genes. When you breed them together, half the babies will come out albino. Just amazing. There's so much cool stuff within breeding. Oh, you guys got to see this. This will blow your mind.
Yeah, so anytime you hear a snake breeder talking about het or heterozygous, it basically, for the most part, it's a trait that is in the animal, but it is not visually represented.
Exactly. So this one is just stunning. The camera is doing nothing to pick up how bright gold this line is down the back, and then you get this white speckling all up the sides. It's just really beautiful. So this is a calico and a spider is what the genes are that are in that. And I just recently got this really beautiful clown that, of course, is in shed right now. That kind of sucks, but look at the head stamp on this thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
man,
super cool.
really, really sweet. And so I told you earlier that we hatched out a $7,500 snake, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a
While
peek.
he's pulling that out real quickly, if you come up and find a new gene, a new visual representation of a snake, you get to name it. So that's why some of these have ridiculous names, by the way.
Yeah. So this is a clown ball python, and the reason that they name this after the clown is you get these little like teardrop drips that come down the side usually, and it's single forms. This is a pastel banana GHI clown, so this is why the value is so much higher. And this camera is doing nothing at all. I mean, this thing is orange and yellow and purple. All of those. It's like this bright lavender
that's so
color
cool.
that's inside of there. So. I mean, it's just endless the amount of Oh, you got to see this one. Hold up.
Yes. Hydro, you need to open up a reptile zoo. I agree.
One day, yeah.
I will go in with you on that.
This is called a purple passion. This snake has actually got this lavendery purple look to it with this beautiful bright line down the back. They are just not.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Showing.
It's so cool. It's like almost like a pastel. It kind of reminds me of what they call them, like mystic potions.
That's it. Yeah, for sure. So there's a couple different styles of that mystic potion and then a purple passion. And so it depends whether you have the Mojave gene or the mystic gene. And so, yeah, it's wild. In this room alone, there are 70, 80 different genes at play. So then in the next room over, you're talking another 60, 70 different genetics that are at play. There's so much to them. It's never ending. That's what makes it so much fun. And then you get these animals. Oh my God, this is going to blow your mind.
All right. Let's do it. Let's get our minds blown.
Are you ready for this though? Seriously?
They are not ready for this. They don't even understand the genius that's going on right here. Oh,
So
all right.
this is
All
a
right.
GHI hypo. I am so mad at this lighting. Are we seeing
Wow.
what I'm seeing? I mean, it's just stunning. These animals are beautiful.
Wow.
So you get that look that is in shed, but it's
Yeah.
like this always because it's a hypo.
That's
So it's
that's
just
craziness.
stunning. And when you put that GHI into the hypo, it's just next level. And then I'm working double recessive genetics. So basically putting, like, say, an albino in with a clown, putting an albino in with a pied, and you start to really make some crazy stuff when you get into that direction. Let's see. Oh, this is a really beautiful one. Might show up all right.
Was that
Yellows.
was that a little hiss?
They'll give a little, let you know. This was the
Ooh.
first year girl that I bred. And then,
That's-
this is 3 years old now at this point when we first started getting into
Super
it.
gorgeous.
And it's even got a little paradox right there.
Oh
You
yeah,
see?
yeah, the little
Uh-huh.
dot. Paradoxing are those little black dots, by the way.
Yeah, so it'll cancel out part of the pattern. Or sometimes if you have like a heterozygous situation, I've even seen where the paradoxing mark shows the visual. So you might have like a visual
Oh.
spot on it that actually shows clown or something else.
I don't
of that
know. I don't
nature.
think I've seen that. That's dope.
Oh, it's amazing, man. It's become more and more common in the ball python world. You want to see I might get bit right here, but this one
Worth it.
is so pretty. All right, let's see.
So he can't hear me now, but I'm gonna see if I can get him to get out his rear-fanged venomous snake.
Okay, I gotta go fast because she might just tag me. This is probably the most beautiful one in here,
That's
in my
so
opinion.
gorgeous.
She has got just this stunning highlighter yellow that runs down her side. And so she's a double recessive snake. That's why these snakes hold so. Don't bite my hand, please. No, don't do it. She's not the friendliest, but she's holding up. She's all right. And you see they get the red eyes.
Yeah.
Just really, really cool snakes. And she's full of eggs. So she's probably not super stoked about show and tell today.
Oh, that's so cool, guys. This is definitely a treat. I know it's a treat for me. That's super cool. She's got Yeah, those highlighter patterns almost kind of remind me of almost like a you'd see in like a jungle carpet python. They're
Totally.
super vibrant.
Oh, she's mind blowing.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna ask you one more favor, and feel free to say no to this.
Yeah. I know what you're already gonna ask.
What am I gonna ask?
You want to see the mangrove?
I want to see the mangrove snake.
You're not gonna get me bid on here with your followers. I know you're trying to get more views on your Twitch, but not by my bite.
No,
I got too much to do this week.
No, it's super beautiful. Super beautiful. I just want people to see like the vibrance of some of these.
No, for sure.
Craziness.
So, yeah, I have what he's talking about is I don't condone. Well, no, I won't say I don't condone. Some people, they get too ahead of themselves when they get into reptiles, right? And so I want the venomous because people think that's cool. And so I said, I would never do that. I don't want something that could kill you, you know. Although cobras, like in this situation with Lord Shiva, this is what got me so into them, was the cobra. Just such a stunning pattern on these animals and the hood that they'll throw up. And so I thought, oh man, how cool to own a cobra. But no, you know, I don't see myself really ever doing that. However, they have animals that are mildly venomous. And so this is a misconception and a beautiful chance for us all to learn something in this right now, is that not all snakes that have venom can kill you. And let's make another thing clear, is that snakes are not poisonous. So people say, is that a poisonous snake? Poison is something that would be involved in like ingestion, you know. So for instance, a lot of frogs will have a poison in them that they'll pick up from eating like ants who have venom in them. And so that venom will translate into a poison. So if something else eats them, then you get poisoned, you know. If you eat bad food, it's food poisoning, right? But an animal envenomates you. It will put its fangs into you and venomate you. And so that's the difference between the two, poison and venom. And then when it comes to these snakes that are mildly venomous, we have these rear-fanged is very popular, where they'll have a long fang in the back that's designed to slowly administer venom, to do things like lizards and small rodents, to knock them out, because they're not pythons. So a python will wrap around its prey, choke it out, and suffocate it, basically. And so these animals, they'll envenomate them with that rear fang. Now I keep these hognose snakes, which are absolutely stunning. I'll go show you a couple of these little.
They're beautiful.
Oh, I got the coolest.
Hognose is a rear fang venomous. Garter snakes that people find are technically rear fang venomous, though. For most of these snakes, if you get bit, you will not have a reaction because they're
It's like a bee sting.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're technically venomous snakes, even though it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of hognoses.
I have a bunch of hognoses.
This is my favorite day.
And I'll just talk on also is the Malaysian mangrove, is a snake that's a little bit larger than your typical rear fang. It's it could, whereas to maybe a hognose, if you do have adverse effects, it might hurt for the afternoon. Your finger might swell up the next day a little bit, but nothing big. These Malaysian mangroves pack enough that if they really chew on you and get a good bite on you, yeah, it might mess your whole week up. You'll be sitting there kind of, you know, sick and not feeling too good. So I'm very cautious when I work with that animal. It's just about to go out on display. Blaine has already handled it because he's, you know, familiar keeper with animals. I've had a lot of great interactions with that snake, but I had a couple that weren't so great, where its mouth was wide open, where you see this bright white mouth to intimidate, and it's striking at me, and I literally was the most scared I've ever been. That's the only snake that still puts the fear into fear to fascination. My girlfriend came in the room as soon as I had literally to a T, Blaine, 1% enough skill not to get bit by this thing. Like, if I would have been just 1% less skilled, I'd have got tagged. And so she comes in the room. I shit you not. My leg was going. I could not stand still. My leg was moving so fast. My right leg just twitching. I'm like, I got. So it was hilarious. I'm very cautious with that one now, and I don't take it out as much anymore because of that. But I need to conquer that fear. Come on.
Yeah, I mean they're great snakes. So some people are. You know, some people's goals are to work with venomous snakes, and rear fang venomous snakes are a great way to learn about the behaviors of more venomous snakes without the life-threatening danger. And I would never say to anyone, go handle a venomous snake. It takes years of training, studying under someone who knows what they're doing. And it's not for most people. But if you do eventually want to handle venomous snakes, start with years of experience of regular snakes, then move on to maybe some rear fang venomous. That's probably your best bet.
Exactly.
So this is gorgeous. This is a little hognose.
This is the tiny little hognose, the only hognose that I've actually hatched out, and these guys are full of piss and vinegar. They're so cute. You see him come out,
such
and
bluffers.
Yes, he's hissing like crazy, and they have the little nose. If you see, they have a scale at the end of the nose that's uprooted, and so they use that for digging. And they have these beautiful bellies that just are not being picked up right now in here. Next time we do this, Blaine, we'll have to do another one, and I'll get a really.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in person.
Yeah, yeah. So
and then I'll be the one to get bit.
Look at him, he's getting a little drink in here.
Yeah, hognose is so cool. I used to have a little hognose, and that upturn scale, for those of you who are playing vocabulary words, is called the rostrum scale.
Thank you, Blaine. Yeah, appreciate that. Did you get to see it drinking right now?
Oh my God, that's so adorable.
And those are tiny. The story behind that is so stinking cool. Should I tell you how that hatched out?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is amazing. I had these two really beautiful snakes that are both in the fridge right now, actually, with the diamonds, because they also brumate. They need to be cooled when they're in the breeding size. So I had these two animals, and my goal was to create a super Arctic. It was an Arctic paired to an Arctic from Jeff JMG, a really great breeder in hognoses. I pair these animals, and everything was going great until she went to lay eggs, and she got egg bound. So what a learning lesson. My first, pairing of hognoses, some of the eggs got stuck inside of her. And so I had to research, learn, help massage these eggs out of her. Only 3 of the eggs were actually viable. They actually had veins in them, right? So the rest of the eggs went bad. I took those 3 eggs, I put it in the incubator. The next day I checked on the eggs. One of them was already deflating and going bad. So it was no good of an egg. I had 2 eggs left, right? So out of those, about a month goes by, I check again. The other egg deflated. Another one went bad. And I'm just broken. I'm like, man, 3 years and raising these up and going through everything. She was egg bound. Like, what a bummer. Then a month goes by, and I checked, knowing it was early, I thought, right? I look in there, and that last egg is deflated. Now, what am I looking for when I go in there? A little bitty worm that's either black and gray or just blackish colored, a little worm. I open it up, that last one's deflated. I'm all, just totally bummed. I look in the corner of my eye, and I see an orange, tiny little ribbon flying around. I could not even register. I look, I'm like, what the heck? Is that like a worm got in here or something? It is an albino Arctic. I call Jeff. I'm like, bro, how did this happen? He's like, oh my God, they proved out. I did not think that they were actually going to be het for that albino. I'm like, so there's a perfect example of when 2 animals that are not albino have that gene hidden inside of them. They were 50%, so he didn't think that they'd prove out, and both of them proved out. And the odds for you to hit an albino Arctic in that pairing,
out of 1 viable
the literal odds are 1 in 32 or 1 in 64. Either one of the two. They're either 1 in 32 or 1 in 60. So 1 egg. It was mind blowing. So super cool story with that one.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, and what they mean by prove out is you can't always. It's all a percentage game with whether or not an animal has a gene, especially with non-visual hets. So when they say 66% het, meaning that they're not sure if that animal has the gene, but most likely it does. And so proving something out meaning that you bred that animal and there was a visual representation of that gene.
Yeah, and so that is just so lucky, so awesome. It actually, what else it means is it took an animal that was worth about $800 and made each one of those animals also worth about $2,000 because now they are het for albino. Yeah. And now that I have that baby, I can use him to further our projects and into the future and to create more albinos when that wasn't even part of the goal in the beginning. So it's just so much fun. It's never ending. It's constantly learning. These animals just are teaching me every day. I learn more and more about them. to watch them eat, to watch them mate, to interact, and to see these different genetics that I can pop out with these wild patterns. And I think, well, how can I make this better? Well, let me intensify that yellow. Maybe I want to make it orange. Maybe I want to scare people and say boo and put the boo on him. How about that? You see the boo?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So-
Quick question from Kaylin: are babies more venomous than adults? There's a myth that babies can't control the amount of venom that they release, where adults have more control over their venom release. So there's less dry bites from babies. While that is true, their teeth are also smaller, and the amount of venom they produce is also less. So it's kind of a wash point. But regardless, if you're not sure what a snake is, don't touch it.
Don't do it.
that's the overall arching rule. I like this.
Best to be
Oh,
cautious.
gorgeous.
Yeah, just the lava running down the back, dripping. Blip, 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 blip. This is a clown, yellow belly clown. Stunning.
Oh, that's gorgeous. All right, have I talked you into this yet? Are you thoroughly warmed up?
I can't do it. No, not today. It's just the way that everything is positioned in there too, in that secondary room. I still have a lot of work in there.
That's okay.
But
Is he not in a display cage?
He's not in a display yet. No,
Oh, okay.
he's still in his quarantine situation. So he's when I originally got him, with him being wild caught. Oh, this is
Hi, kitty. What kind of snake is? What kind of reptile is that?
yeah, right. She's like, I want attention. But no, when we originally got that Malaysian Mangrove, it was an impulse buy, which I never recommend. If you go to a reptile show and you see something, you go, man, let's just do it. Do your research first. Never purchase an animal if you don't first have an enclosure at home and all the knowledge necessary to give that animal everything that it requires. That being said, I had enough knowledge and I knew about the Malaysian Mangrove to take care of it. I had an enclosure at home. I had all that kind of stuff. However, what I wasn't up on is wild caught. And
Yeah.
something that Blaine mentioned earlier was do not take animals out of the wild. Well, some of the animals, unfortunately, are not bred enough in captivity to where the only way we get some of these animals is through people wild catching them and sending them over from other countries, right? Well, this animal just so happened to be one of those. And it was before I knew that I didn't want to keep animals like that per se. And so when we get these animals, we have to treat them for parasites, and you want to make sure that they're separated from the rest of your collection. God forbid all of my amazing animals have something affected by that animal that I bring in. You would never want that to happen. So that's why this animal is in my quarantine room. I keep a separate room for these animals that you can raise up for a couple of months, watch them really well, treat them, make sure that they're healthy to put back into your collection. And this one is ready to go. It's just life is busy and I haven't had a chance to really set up an enclosure up here for it. But it will be in here in our actual living room. I don't do the television, so this is my television. I love watching these animals do what they do every day.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, consolation. What about carpet python? What do we got?
Yeah, I could do
All
that.
right.
Okay.
Like
like it
what's your biggest carpet python that's not your broodmating diamonds?
Probably my diamond hybrid. So that's a bonus. I was gonna bring Yahi out, but if you want the biggest one, that would be my diamond hybrid. And she's beautiful. She's a diamond cross with a caramel. So one of the things that you were mentioning earlier in the episode was how the diamond will be on another island as well, right? Well, these animals are known to hybridize in the wild. Diamond pythons being one of them, where they very familiar species to them is the carpet python, right? They almost put them in the same genus, even though they aren't. But there's a whole other story.
Most people considered, at least for a while, considered the diamond python to be a type of carpet python.
Exactly. And they do have similarities. However, that's why people were having the diamond python syndrome, not taking care of them, not cooling them, and these animals would die a lot earlier than they should. So I'm going to have to take a headphone off, hopefully not take a bite, and you guys will see how to pull a carpet or a diamond out of an enclosure.
Yeah. So carpet and diamond pythons are semi-arboreal, meaning they spend a lot of time in the tree. And so when you're dealing with semi-arboreal snakes, you need an enclosure with height. There's the hook. This is proper technique, guys. You want to make sure that the animal knows it's not feeding time. And you want to make sure that the animal knows it's going to be handled. Never reach in and grab an animal from above, because only predators do that. You want to get underneath the animal and you want to gently support it. the hook lets it know it's not dinner time. And then you get a hand up underneath the snake. There it is. There it is. And if the snake is moving away from you, that's a good time to get the main part of its body. It is a house of snakes and lizards. Lots of lizards, too. Gently, gently. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Any animal can bite.
Whoa.
If you handle the dog wrong.
Move like a ball python.
Yeah,
This
so
is my diamond girl.
she's so beautiful.
They are movers and shakers, but you can see she is a lot longer than my ball pythons. Calm down, girl. Calm down.
So their tails are semi-prehensile, which means they can use them to grab and grip. So they'll grip their tails, and they can get a lot more extension than a ball python would.
Major. Watch. Let's see how much extension we can get. I love doing this with them. Is you get them to go. Here, watch.
Yeah.
Oh, she got the dreads. Here, watch. Let me pop this off, and you'll see how they like to climb up. You'll never see a ball python be able to do this. So I'll take her by this thing, and she'll usually see the
chandelier.
Yeah, and she'll go for the chandelier. You have got my dreads, don't you? All right.
Yeah, they got a grip. That's how they climb trees. It's crazy. It's fascinating.
Look, Mom, no hands.
Right? they can literally hang on to anything.
Yeah, but they are amazing animals. For someone who starts out, a ball python's great, and then if you end up wanting something that's a little more active, these guys are very active. And so you can see that it has a similar pattern to the diamond.
Yeah,
but it is also a carpet.
Yeah, that looks like it's a cross with like a coastal carpet.
Coastal caramel, yeah.
Coastal caramel,
So,
yeah. So even amongst the carpet python genus, there's several different kinds. The jungles are like highlighter yellow, which we were talking kind of about earlier. Diamonds are more black with a diamonding pattern. Coastals have much more of a, oh, that's gorgeous.
So there's a jungle.
Muted coloration. Nice.
Yeah. He's like, hey, girly.
Yeah, right. You can see that classic S formation. That's a normal, like, ooh, am I getting fed? They
cage
punch
aggressive,
back like a spring, so that they can leap forward and either scare off a predator or grab a quick meal.
Yeah, they'll eat birds. They're pretty amazing. They can. Yeah, as he mentioned, semi-arboreal, they love to be in trees. So the thing about these snakes and why they're so cautious like that is they're, one of the rare ones where they have predators coming from below and above. There's stuff always coming at them. So if you come down on them into an enclosure, they're likely to strike your hand thinking that you're a predator trying to hurt them.
Yeah, big birds of prey.
Look how beautiful.
Oh my God, so pretty. How big will she get? That's the question from Kaylin.
Really big. So yeah, these enclosures are ready for pretty much a switch out. They've got little ledges up there for them to climb up onto at night, which they'll come out, and then they have their little hides in there. But what I want for them are the really nice, like basically imagine that entire top piece there would be one adult enclosure there. That a little higher than this as well, so that they have a ledge to climb on. We're talking about a 6 to 8 foot long enclosure. So they're about ready for an upgrade. But when they're babies, you want to start them out in smaller enclosures so that they build comfortability in there. Not the smallest, but
Yeah, you basically with any snake, you want to give it at least the length of its body. If it's a ground dwelling snake,
I don't think I'm getting out of this one.
I think that's your day now, bro. That's your day now.
No, I love these things. They're absolutely amazing. And it goes hand in hand with the music, because the music was just about helping people, uplifting people, trying to get people to be the best selves that they can possibly be. For me, life is just this constant battle against myself. Let me just be better than who I was yesterday, right? And so it's all about conquering fears already. And it just went hand in hand. I'm like, man, I love to help people. I love to inspire people. Fear to fascination. And so we go to the shows and to see the kids. I might bust a little freestyle about one of the kids and tie in the music with it all. And we just love it. You know, the community is one thing that's so supportive. These people just are very, very supportive of one another. If anyone gets sick or hurt in the hobby, or God forbid something happens to their collection, these people will donate ridiculous amounts of money to help out. And the amount of money that they raise to help educate people through US ARC about these animals.
Uh-oh. I think
There
the
I am.
snake got the phone.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's great. I love it. It keeps me busy, and I wouldn't have it any other way, you know?
Heck yeah. So definitely check out Fear to Fascination on Instagram. If you're ever interested in getting your first ball python, even if Hydro doesn't have the exact animal you're looking for, he is a wealth of information and definitely willing to share to bring new people into the hobby. On the musical side, go check out Hydro's new album Hiatus, and like, follow, subscribe to his YouTube and his platforms so that he can continue to make uplifting music for everyone. He's just a wealth of positivity, and we're so glad to have him on this live stream. Is there anything else you want to leave the people with?
Hey, I'm honored to be here, my brother. Thank you so much for spending the morning with me. It was fun. I love educating people and showing them about these amazing animals, and just hoping to help conquer the fear, if nothing else, the misconception that these animals are bad or that we should kill them, and, you know, that it's just our world. We got to share this world with everybody else. And, you know, that's the beauty of it. That's what it's really all about. So thank you for everybody that tapped in. Much love to all my people. Much love to all your people. This is just the beginning. Blaine and I got a lot of music coming, and you know you're going to see us playing with reptiles again. That's for sure.
Oh, that's happening. Oh, one last question. Do snakes have bad eyesight? Do they see other snakes in the enclosures next to each other? Let's get that question answered.
Not necessarily that they have bad eyesight. Now, for these animals here, you'll see that they have these heat pits that look almost like teeth on the side of their mouth. So these animals don't have the best eyesight. Arboreals, though, do have better than you would have in like a ball python. Ball pythons are mainly relying on those heat pits because they can sense it, as well as the tongue to taste the air, right? To know if there's a rodent around. But I have an animal over here that's my favorite in the entire collection called a paradise flying snake. And you will pretty much only see this snake on National Geographics. It is a very rare snake. No one is breeding them in the United States. That's one of my conservation animals that I'm working with. And they're the 1 in 5 species that can glide. They flatten their rib cage and they can hover 200, I believe it's 200 feet in from tree to tree to catch different lizards. So their vision is amazing. They have these huge eyes and they don't use the heat pits. So different snakes have different levels of vision. Some are very acute vision and some not so much at all. And so as far as them seeing each other in enclosures and being bothered, it would be more of a smell thing. Like the males will smell that there's a girl around and they're like, I want some, you know. I haven't noticed with them seeing each other and being bothered, but what I do with lizards, you'll see I block all my lizards. There's the orange deal over there that's blocking the beardy from the chameleon, because they will go crazy on the glass at each other trying to get at one another. Bigger head, bigger brain going on, I feel like, in there. You know, they're thinking more like, what is that? So no, just depends on the species. Some don't have the best vision, some do, but they're not bothered by each other in the enclosures. No.
Heck yeah, thank you for answering that. Fun side note, Jesse, if you want to Google blind snake, there is a bunch of types of snakes called blind snakes, and they live basically underground. So they don't really have use for eyes. So their eyes are basically pointless.
Yeah.
So this is a rare dread snake.
Yes, as you see. This is Drodusa. I was gonna check and see if I could find. Now my paradise flying snake is in shed, so it's but it's in this enclosure here. And it's just my favorite to watch. It is always active. It's just an absolutely amazing animal. So yeah, look up paradise flying snake. I see the mind blown for the flying snake. They're so cool.
Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Hydro for donating his time to make us all a little smarter and excited about life.
I love it.
Really appreciate you, bro. Go follow, like, subscribe, and I think we're gonna get out. It's an hour and 44 minutes. I love it. This is one of the longest ones I've done. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Hell yeah, brother. It's great to see you. Had a lot of fun.
Bro.
Come visit me. Let's do it
Yes.
live.
We're doing it soon.
Okay.
All right. Peace.
Thanks.